Hi, everybody. Obviously, my name is Louise and I'm joined by the lovely Kate here. So I head up talent acquisition for the northeast of England and parts of Northern Ireland as well. And Kate, do you want to introduce who you are?
So I'm Kate. I go to Uni of York and I've just completed my placement year last year with Enterprise. So I did the graduate scheme slash placement scheme last year. And now I'm the campus brand ambassador for York as well for this year.
Amazing. And you just passed your management qualification, haven't you, Kate?
Yeah, I did it back in September, October time now. Yeah, so.
Wow, that's flew by. I thought it was more recent. Amazing. Amazing. Well, yeah, so today is just going to be a bit of a chance for you guys to get to know a little bit more about Enterprise, who we are, what we do, and then hopefully by the end of this, you think about potentially applying for us and wanting to work. So we've got a jam-packed agenda. We're definitely going to leave time for questions at the end. So I always try and give 10-15 minutes towards the end of the presentation. If you do have any questions about anything that we run through or anything at all, no question is a silly question. But do please pop those questions in the chat box as we go throughout, and then we will get to them at the end. But let's get started. So, Enterprise Rent a Car, who are we? What do we do? Hopefully, most of you on this call know who we are and what we do. We are the biggest transportation industry in the world. So I would hope that you've seen some of our vans, some of our cars, and some of our branches, at least somewhere, wherever you live. But this slide here just gives you a little bit of an idea as to some of the products and some of the services that we offer at Enterprise. So as you can see here, we've got three brands. We've got Enterprise Rent a Car, and then we have Alamo and National, which are the exact same thing. It's just you might have seen them anywhere else in the world. So Alamo and National are normally at airports, train stations, exactly the same thing as Enterprise. They're just called something else. And then under Enterprise, we have Enterprise Rent a Car, which is where everybody normally starts in the business. So about 90% of our workforce start in a rental car branch like Kate and like myself. And we have sort of three main areas of business there. We have retail, which is people that hire cars for travel. They might be on holiday. They need a second vehicle temporarily. We have insurance, which is if you have an accident or you break down, you will get a courtesy car, which is normally provided through Enterprise. And we also have our corporate business. That's people that hire vehicles for work purposes. Different to leasing, it's not like a leasing contract, but if people temporarily need to travel somewhere for work, they'll get a car through us as well. We then have Enterprise Flexi Rent, which is a large part of our business, which is a lot of sort of supermarket HGVs, specialised vehicles. Those really annoying highway maintenance vehicles are normally Enterprise Flexi Rent vehicles. You might have seen our logo on the side. So sorry about all the traffic lights and all the roadworks. And then we have Enterprise Exotics, which I don't know about you, Kate, but I would have loved to have worked in Enterprise Exotics. That's our Lamborghinis, Bugatti.
Yeah, I've dropped a few of them off before to like pick them up, and I look at the cars and it's so nice.
Oh, I'm so jealous. If I could have worked in Enterprise Exotics, I would have. It's amazing. And Kate, do you want to explain a little bit about Enterprise Car Club is? Because you definitely have more interaction with this than I probably do.
Yeah, so Car Club is like, I work in York, so we have basically they're just like cars parked around the city, and it saves the customer having to come into the branch to rent out the car. It's all on an app. You sign up and you just go up to the car, you book which car you want out, so whatever's closest. There's quite a varied fleet as well at the minute. Like, for example, in York, we have different vans, we have electric vehicles, we even have automatics, manuals. There's quite a varied fleet as well. So you just hire out what you want, and then you pay for just the small amount of time that you want it. So normally if you just like need to move one thing from one end of York to the other end of York, if you came to us, you'd have to rent it out for 24 hours. But with the Car Club, it gives you more flexibility, being able to just have it for a few hours and just return it back. And it's just a lot easier.
Amazing, thanks, Kate. Yeah, Car Club is pretty much the newest area of our business. It's still been around for a few years, but it's great as well because you've legally got to be over the age of 25 to rent a vehicle. But with Car Club, it can be people. Is it 20 and above, Kate, or is it 21 and above?
I think it's 21.
21.
Yeah, I remember when I was an intern, I was allowed, but then as I got to 21, I can now.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, that just gives you a little bit of an idea as what Enterprise do, because you might have heard of us before, but not 100% sure on what we do behind the scenes. So that gives you a little bit of an idea on our brands. And we always like to pop this slide up just because there's some stuff on here that we're really proud of. So we turn over around $23.9 billion in annual revenue a year, which is just absolutely insane. You know, coming out of the back end of the pandemic, we managed to grow even more than some of our competitors. We took on a lot of extra business. So we're very proud of the growth that we've sustained after the pandemic as well. We have over 10,000 fully staffed global branches of over 80,000 wonderful employees like Kate. And we have over 1.7 million vehicles. As you can see on that previous slide, we have a ton of different vehicles on offer. And we're also USA's 12th largest private company, according to Forbes. And I always say, if it's on Forbes, it's true. So it is true. We are the 12th largest company in the USA. And this slide here is something that is very, very important to us at Enterprise. So we are taught our founding values from the second we walk in the door at Enterprise, and these are upheld all the way throughout your career at Enterprise. So we take these into account before we make any major business decision, before we interact with the customer, before we take on any new contracts. It's very much something that Enterprise uphold through and through. So, Kate, I'm going to pick on you here again. Which one of these founding values would you say you resonate with the most? Which one do you think is most important to you?
I would say our company is a fun and friendly place, or obviously where teamwork rules. As especially starting on a placement year, it's quite daunting going from straight from uni life straight into corporate life.
Yeah.
And I've made friends that I'm still friends with now through my work. So having that friendly atmosphere every day really helped transition from uni life into the working life, which I know a lot of my friends really struggled with. But with Enterprise, it seemed a lot more socialize because people are most likely going to be similar age to you, have similar interests, and Enterprise are quite good at encouraging you to socialize outside of work as well.
That's a really great one, and I think we try our best at Enterprise to really uphold that work-life balance, and definitely the social life at Enterprise is something that is very important to a lot of people. We quite often have nights out as different areas or groups. We have a couple of different competitions that run on a monthly basis where you can go out, you can win prizes, and not only just extra bonuses and money, but also you get a chance to go out with a group of people, go-karting, axe throwing, paintballing, all sorts of crazy fun stuff. So it's really great that you can transition quite nicely from that university social life into a working life, but still have that balance. So that's a really great one. And the one that I always pick on is that we strengthen our communities one neighborhood at a time. And this definitely takes us into this next slide as well. Enterprise does a lot of work with our local communities. We do a lot for different charities and non-profit organizations. So we very much have this philanthropic mission where we want to put back into the world what, we take out of it. And we very much, as we say in the top left, we are investing in our future. So just a little bit of an idea of some of the things that Enterprise have done in terms of this sort of philanthropic initiative is we have our Roots and Roots campaign, which is where we have a 5-year donation of $30 million to the Nature Conservancy to support major water resource management in America and Europe. We have the Enterprise 50 million tree pledge, which is, as you can guess, trees. $50 million commitment over 50 years to plant trees on public lands across North America and Europe. And more recently, we have the Road Forward initiative, which was started in the autumn of 2020. And we basically launched this massive global initiative where we're involving employees on helping to donate money to their local communities. And we have said that we're going to spend an additional £24 million over the next 5 years to help strengthen our communities across these areas that we have our branches. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea as to some of the things that Enterprise are doing, but we feel that we have not only just a corporate responsibility, but it's set within our founding values that we want to strengthen our neighbourhoods and we want to do things that are going to better the communities where our branches are placed. So that gives you an idea of some of the philanthropic things that we are doing. And this is just a nice little graphic here of some of these things that I've just spoken about. And this moves us nicely into sort of diversity and inclusion as well at Enterprise. So we're very, very proud of some of these awards that we have won. I know that for me, and I don't know if you agree with this, Kate, but when I was at university and I heard about Enterprise, at that time we had won, we'd been in the top 50 employees for women, I think for 14 consecutive years at that point. I believe it's now 17. So I don't know for you, Kate, whether that was a big thing for you coming into a company that really supported the sort of promotion of women.
Yeah, definitely, because a lot of, especially within the world of like business, it's very male oriented. And like even on my course at uni, majority of my course mates are male. So a lot of the graduate schemes are catered towards males. And yeah, so Enterprise, obviously seeing that they cater towards females as well, really pushed me towards applying.
Absolutely. We have a lot of diversity, equity and inclusion committees at Enterprise as well. So I'm part of the gender committee, but we have a committee for LGBTQ+. We have our family friendly committee, so people that are maybe caregivers or parents whilst working at Enterprise. We have our race and religion committee, and we also have our disability committee as well. So there is these groups that you can join whilst you work at Enterprise that are there to help, not only just help you connect with people that might be from a similar background to you, but also helps to educate you about other areas that maybe you don't have experience in. So for myself, learning about people with different disabilities at work and how they're able to adapt and how we can help them is very, very important to me. So it's something that, although it doesn't resonate with me because I don't have a disability, I still think it's very important to learn about. And that's what these committees are really great at doing. Have you ever been to any sort of diversity events during your time at Enterprise, Kate?
We've done the women in rental for my area. So we like went out for a meal with all the women that work in my area and stuff, and just got a chance to just like chat about what it's like working at Enterprise and kind of know your like support system as well.
Absolutely. We do a lot of these sort of women in rental events with different areas. So we'll have people that are graduate trainees that are all women that will get together. We'll have our assistant managers and our branch managers that are female get together. And it's just a really nice time for people to chat, get to know one another, but then also talk business as well. So yeah, this is just an idea of some of the awards that we win, but we do have an award-winning graduate programme that I know that I'm very proud to be part of as well. And again, just like we planned it, that segues nicely into talking about the management training programme at Enterprise. And again, we just like to put on here some of the amazing awards that we win. So we're in the top 100 of graduate employers, and we're in Rate My Placement's best 100 student employers as well, because obviously Enterprise do provide summer internships and 1-year placements as well, like Kate did. Kate, do you want to explain a little bit about how you learned about Enterprise and what made you choose us for your placement?
So obviously I was still at uni when I was applying for placements. I was in second year and it was kind of COVID times when I was applying. So it was quite difficult, and a lot of graduate schemes weren't going ahead, or if they were very much online and you weren't getting the full experience. Enterprise really stuck out as being like pretty much the only one that was still committed to making sure you were in the branch every day, supporting you through the COVID times, because obviously it was different, it was new. So yeah, that was one thing that really struck to me, to go to Enterprise over all the other sort of placement years, because you're actually going into the office and getting the full experience.
Amazing, thank you. And I think our placement programme is excellent, and it really does help teach students the necessary skills that they're going to need to be able to take back into the world of work, wherever it is that they go after. Hopefully they return to us and stay on part-time like you have, but it's always good to teach those additional skills as well. But this slide here is looking at sort of the investment that we put into every graduate and every placement student that we take in. So for us, we want to hire the best diverse talent in the industry, because having the best diverse talent means that we can attract a large and diverse customer base. Those customers have great customer service. They go away, they talk to their friends and family about Enterprise, they write a review. Those customers come back and bring their family and friends with them, and then that's how the business continues to grow. So we have only been doing so well over the last however many years and especially coming out of the back end of the pandemic as well, because of the people that we bring in. And we're very proud of the workforce that we have. So that is what it's all about for us. It's about leveling up. It's about making sure that we hire passionate, talented people that can provide excellent customer service, and that is going to go back into the business as well. So moving on for some of the skills that you will learn on the Enterprise Management Training Programme. So there are so many skills that you learn. And I know for me, when I started on the graduate programme, I was an extremely shy, very shy individual, which you probably never guessed from the way that I'm speaking, but very, very shy, didn't have a lot of confidence. And coming onto the graduate scheme really, really helped me to come out of my shell. It helped me to gain that confidence and really helped put me in the best position for my career. Kate, what would you say is a main thing that you've learned coming out of your placement?
Just like an overall perspective of how like a business works as well, because obviously and in uni you get told about the theory and stuff like that, but actually working hand on hand with your manager and like actually getting experience in all the different areas, like because you could get experience in marketing, risk, loads of different areas, just being able to have that roundedness, because a lot of placement years or graduate schemes are very focused on one area. So I really appreciated getting the opportunity to branch out into different areas as well, not just being really focused on one.
That's a great point, Kate, because although our program is called a graduate management program, you do get to learn about elements of the business that maybe you wouldn't be exposed to on a daily basis. So you do get to learn a little bit about corporate marketing, you get to learn a bit about accounts and finance, recruitment, fleet logistics, vehicle repair, building relationships, literally everything you get to learn. So it's great to give you a wide scope, and then you can go away with those skills either into your final year at university or continue that along your graduate program as well. So one of the first skills that we say that you will learn will be communication. And that means not only just communicating with customers, but also communicating with other members of staff. You communicate with such a wide variety of customers on a daily basis at Enterprise, whether that be corporate business, whether that be body shops, dealerships, insurance customers, customers traveling for holidays. So you very much get to adapt that communication style. And this can be applied to pretty much any customer that you'll be dealing with any time in the future in your career. And that leads us again into customer service. So Enterprise is all about customer service. It is what we are all about. We pride ourselves on providing excellent customer service. And I think actually, Kate, this would be a really nice time for you to talk a little bit about the bonuses that come alongside customer service without using too much Enterprise jargon.
That's right. So with the customer service, we are kind of scored at the end of each month. So every customer, well, not every customer, a percentage of our customers get a survey, and they need to fill it out and say how satisfied they are with the service that they receive. If they fill it in completely satisfied, that obviously gives us a plus on the percentage. And then there's certain percentages that you get. And if you get over them percentages, you get the bonus. So at the end of the month, you get a little extra bonus in your pay packet, which is always really nice, because obviously that motivates the team a lot, because everyone in the team gets the bonus. So everyone really works together to try and gain that bonus, because obviously it's nice to have a little bit of extra in your paycheck at the end of the month.
Yeah, I think it's £150, is it, if you get your customer service? Yeah, so I mean, £150 for doing your job right and, you know, treating customers with respect and giving excellent customer service, it's pretty much a given, isn't it? So that's just one of the ways that you can earn a little bit of extra money on our graduate and placement programs as well. Thanks, Kate. So another one of the skills is time management. So very much, yes, you are thrown at the deep end, which I think is a really, really great thing. I'll never forget my first day at Enterprise. I went out and served a customer on my own. I was absolutely terrified, but I was so happy because I got thrown at the deep end, and it, in my opinion, is the best way to learn. Obviously, with support from management along the way as well. You're not just left to fend for yourself, but time management is very important. It's about managing your training program that you are going through, which we're more than happy to clarify if anyone has any questions about how that looks. But it's about managing your time. So we have certain captaincies at Enterprise as well. So you'll sort of head up a little area, whether that be customer service or sales or insurance. and it's your job to manage that little area, and that then sort of rotates every month to give you a chance to do each area. So you've also got to manage your time with that as well, but rest assured you do get a lot of support from your team and your managers, and you're also assigned a mentor as well. So that is somebody that is in a certain area of the business who also started on the graduate or placement programme, who's there to offer you some additional help. So yes, we are obviously very fast paced, there is a lot to do, but managing your time well and having the support to be able to do that is definitely very helpful. Leadership is very important. So at Enterprise, just a little bit of added information, we only promote from within. So I think it's like 98% of our workforce started as a graduate trainee or a placement student. So even our current CEO, Chrissy Taylor, who is actually the grandchild of the founder of Enterprise, still had to start on the graduate program, which that is pretty rough for her. I'm not going to lie, but she still had to start in the same area. So it's very much about leadership and learning about Enterprise and what it is and what we do, and learning these skills and then taking that on throughout your career at Enterprise. Kate, how do you feel that you've sort of grown as a leader?
Yeah, like you said, with the specific areas you get to focus on, the captaincy areas, I really feel like that really pushed me to be a leader, because it's quite easy when you first start to just look at the people that have been there longer. But when you're given that responsibility of being, I don't know, the marketing captaincy, you've got that full responsibility. So it makes it easier to kind of like give that leadership role to yourself, because then you can tell other people the targets that you've set for them. It just really helps you kind of come out of your comfort zone, because obviously you're in charge of that captaincy, so you need to make sure you hit the goals yourself. So yeah, the structure's there to be able to just get you out of your comfort zone in a more fluid way.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the support is there so that when you are given a little bit extra responsibility, it's not just overnight, you're very much supported through that as well. So yeah, leadership is a massive one. And I just popped in the chat there, I can see a couple of people have their hands up. We will be getting around to questions just at the end of the presentation. So any questions you have, pop them in the chat box, or if you want to save them for the Q&A, which won't be too much longer, and we'll get around to them. Emotional intelligence. So again, at Enterprise, you're quite often having to deal with certain types of customers, mainly insurance customers, where they've maybe broken down, they've had an accident, the last thing they want to do is be talking to you. They want to get in their car and they want to go and not speak to anybody after their stressful experience. So having that emotional intelligence is really important, because it means that you're having to learn about how to deal with customers that maybe are going through a bit of a hard time. So again, this graduate program will help you to learn a lot about how to interact with different people. Marketing and sales is a massive part of the role. Now, sales experience isn't necessary to be able to apply, because we have such a robust training program that we can teach everything we need you to know. However, you do need to have that sort of sales aptitude and that passion for sales and customer service. Kate, again, can you explain a little bit about how those bonuses again work with sales in the branches at the moment? Because it may have changed slightly since I left.
So you have the opportunity to kind of sell on every customer. So you're marked against the three areas of the business, obviously insurance, corporate and retail. The main ones are insurance and retail, not the corporate, you can't sell that much on. So all your results of every customer that you serve, they're averaged out, and then the top ones that get the most amount of money from them customers are the ones that earn bonus, which go into the elite club, which then results into what you were talking about earlier. You get to go to specific events and also relates to bonuses as well. So basically, you kind of ranked, but obviously you have that support of being able to get up, and it's very much like, oh, you're going to hit elite, and it's like a healthy atmosphere, just trying to get yourself motivated to try and find the techniques to sell to every customer. And yeah.
Amazing, thanks Kate. But yeah, sales is definitely a big part, as is marketing, but don't worry too much again if you are thinking about applying and you don't have that experience. I didn't really have any marketing or sales experience
I had
before.
no sales experience.
You've just got to have that aptitude. You've got to be able to communicate. And again, it draws on a couple of the skills that we spoke about at the start about that communication, leadership, customer service, emotional intelligence. That all very much filters into marketing and sales. So yeah, don't worry too much about that. Also, problem solving. With any customer service role comes problem solving. And again, when you have that extra added responsibility of the certain captaincies or, you know, some other things that are going on in the branch, you've got to be able to see these challenges that need solutions and then conquer them. So very much standard part of any business sort of environment. Problem solving is definitely up there, and being able to stay calm in those situations as well. And then finally, we have adaptability. So again, a lot can change throughout a day at enterprise. It might be anything with cars is always unpredictable. You might have a car that is damaged. You might have a car that gets a flat tire. You might have someone need the car a little bit longer than they had originally booked it for, but that car was booked to go out on something else that same day. Kate, we've all been there. But it's about adapting to that situation because a lot can change at a day at enterprise. But again, it's not that you're not supported. You are very much supported through every day. You will work with an amazing team of people who have started exactly where you have started. And they're there to help you not only adapt to the role, but adapt to challenges as they come. So adaptability very much comes from these other skills that we've been talking about. So again, we put it as the final skill, but it's definitely one of the most important ones as well. So that's it for skills. This is a little bit about a management trainee career path. So as I've mentioned, I probably sound like a broken record, but everyone starts at number one at the bottom as a management trainee or a placement student at enterprise. The majority of people do. Now, once you've completed your management training, which Kate has just finished, congratulations, Kate, which is basically just a training folder that you work through. It's not so much a pass or fail, it's more focused on your development and the things you learn during your time at enterprise. Once you've completed that, you then automatically are promoted to management assistant, which comes with a nice little pay rise as well. And then you are eligible for promotions to assistant manager. So that is assisting in the management of a rental branch. Once you've been assistant manager, you can then go on to branch manager, area manager, all the way up to vice president and further if you'd like to. This little diagram keeps going and going. But there is also the option to specialise in certain departments if you want. So it might be that you get to branch or area manager and you think, oh, I really have a passion for marketing, or I really have a passion for recruitment or corporate sales. We're obviously a massive international company. There's so many opportunities. So for someone like myself, I went into the marketing side. Those opportunities are there for Kate as well, with different departments should she decide what she wants to do. So no career journey at enterprise is linear. There's also nothing stopping me, even though I work for the corporate side now, there's nothing stopping me from saying, actually, I want to go back into rental as a branch and area manager. I'm going to hop back in there. And then a couple of years later think, actually, I want to pop back out into corporate sales, or I want to try health and safety or risk. So although you're getting promotions and your pay is going up every time, the ladder is very much a sidestep as opposed to a linear ladder there. But Kate as well, I think that might be a good opportunity to just quickly run through sort of what that training folder looks like a little bit.
So it's kind of split up into 3 stages. So it's very flexible. Some people can complete it in, I don't know, like 6 months. Some people do it in like 2 years. I did mine just under a year. I ended up completing mine in. It just depends on yourself, and you'll set targets with your manager, which makes it really flexible. So the 3 stages, you'll learn about all different areas of business, as we've mentioned a little bit about marketing, a bit about finance. And through the stages, you'll also have, like, at the minute, there's Zoom calls going into a little bit more detail. So everything you learn day to day, but on the Zoom calls, you go into like even more detail, and it gives you the opportunity to ask some of the corporate heads specific questions, which I found really helpful. They're kind of like lectures, like little seminars. Very collaborative, just making sure everyone's kind of on the same page. And you get put in like a nice training group with people that start on the same day, which I felt really nice. So you could see you all progressing at the same time, which is really good. So you go through them 3 stages, and then at the end you do something what we call an MQI exam. So it's like a whole day on Zoom, and basically you do a little tiny kind of like assessment. It's kind of just, you do it with one of the corporate heads, and they just ask you a few questions to just make sure that you know what you're on about, and make sure you'd be prepared to be an assistant manager. And you go through that, and then at the end of the day you get like a percentage on each area. You get some really good feedback as well, and then once you've done that, obviously you get promoted to MA, and then you can become an assistant manager from there.
Thanks for explaining that, Kate. And I think it's definitely worth noting that it's these things that you're asked at the end of this sort of management qualification aren't things that you won't know. It's things that you're doing every day in the branch. So that's very much why we think that our graduate scheme is the best, because you're learning about everything on the job whilst you're actually doing it. It's not that you're learning about things that you don't have any interaction with. You're generally part of every part of that company in the running of that branch. So these things that you're asked about at the end of this sort of management qualification that Kate's talking about is very much stuff that you'll know. So again, like we said before, it's not so much a pass or fail, it's more an overall percentage on how you did in that sort of section of that core area of the company. And moving on to the application process. Also, we are coming to the end of the presentation here, guys. So if anyone wants to pop any more questions in the chat, I know a few people had their hands up, so please do feel free to pop that in now, because we'll be getting onto that in the next slide. But if anyone is interested, the application process starts off with an online application, and I can see that Sam has popped a link to our trainee jobs in the chat there. So if anyone is interested in applying, you can follow that link, filter it by area, and then apply online. If you are successful, you will then be invited to a 30-minute Microsoft Teams interview with a member of our recruitment team, very much focusing on sort of competency-based questions. So can you tell us about a time you have done X, Y, Z? What was the outcome? Very informal, very chatty. It's all about personality and enterprise. So if you can get that across, you'll definitely be successful. And the final part of the interview stage is a branch visit. So this is a really unique opportunity that Enterprise offer for you to go into a branch that's local to you, meet the team, so meet people like Kate that are doing it every day, have a chat with them, shadow them for a few hours, and then it is followed up with a in-person interview with the area manager of that region, very similar to what you will have gone through in the 30-minute Microsoft Teams interview. But just in person again, so we can get a feel for who you are and what you're like as a person. And then if you like us and we like you and you feel like it's a good fit, you'll then be offered a role from there. So no assessment centres, no psychometric testing. I think I was one of the last people to get an assessment centre at Enterprise before we scrapped them. So you're very lucky about that, because it was a great assessment centre, but I don't like assessment centres. I don't think many people do. So you're lucky in that sense, but that just gives you a little bit of an idea as to what our application process looks like. And we just like to pop on here our socials as well, just if anyone is interested. We do tend to update them a lot. We're doing our campus tour at the moment, where we're going around a lot of universities doing a spin and win wheel with prizes. So we have a couple left of them over the next week. So that is all on our Instagram. We also have our individual LinkedIns. Sam, I don't know if you can pop a link for my LinkedIn in the chat if possible, just because I can't stop sharing screen. I can't do two things at once. If anyone is interested in reaching out to me personally, you can direct message me or Kate on LinkedIn as well. And then our YouTube is actually really great. It has a lot of really good videos on there. We have a couple of day in the life videos. We have videos to help you with employability skills, such as presentation skills, interview building, CV, that kind of thing. So please do have a little look on socials. Natalie, I can just see there that you've seen happy about no personal assessment, no assessment centre. I know, right? It's great that we scrapped that, because we feel that we can get great talent in without the need for assessment centres. So yeah, I'm happy that you're happy about that. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the presentation. I really just want to open up the floor to any questions. I think someone has their hand up. Do you want to come off mute, or do you want to pop your question in the chat? For some reason, I can't see who has the hand up. I just know someone does. Hello, hello. Any questions? There's definitely a hand up somewhere, unless it's an accident. Got a couple of hands up now. Can you please unmute my mic? Sam, how do we do that? I don't think, can we unmute mics, or do you need to unmute your mic?
We should be unmuted now.
Hi, Lucy. Hi, Kate. I'm Sadania. Yeah, so actually, I'm asking that I don't have any driving license. So, is it the mandatory for each and every role for the candidate to have a driving license?
Yes. So for the majority of our roles, you do have to have a full UK driver's license, just because there is a little bit of driving involved in the role. Kate, I don't know if you want to explain a little bit about how driving's involved.
Yeah, so drivers, like, yeah, you do need to be able to drive the car, because obviously you might drive it around the actual lot, or you might, for corporate drive them to their houses and pick them up from their houses. So you do have a little bit of driving involved, just to obviously get logistics of moving the cars around and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have also question, like if I have like a international driving license for 1 year valid in this UK, so it is valid for you guys as well?
So it has to be a full UK license. Unfortunately, we can't have an international license. It does have to be a UK license. So if you're able to get that switched over to a UK license, absolutely you can apply. But yeah, it is mandatory. Unless you're exempt because of medical disability, you do have to have a full UK license, unfortunately, to be able to apply. I've just noticed that there's a couple of questions in the actual Q&A, which I didn't realize was a thing. So I'm going to ask some questions from here. So we have a question here saying, what do I have to do to be selected? So that's a great question. I think that mainly when you go through the application and the interview process, you want to make sure that you are showcasing some of those skills that we've been talking about in this presentation. So very much honing on any customer service or sales experience that you've had, customer service being the main one. But like I said, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, I know I am, but we very much hire for personality at Enterprise. So if we feel that you can communicate with customers, we feel that you're going to be, a good member of the team, then you'll be selected. But it's very much looking at those core competencies of customer service, sales and communication, and then also personality as well. If you're an international student, how to get a license? Great question. I always say best thing to do is pop onto the DVLA website. They have all the information about switching over from an international to a UK license. I have no information on that whatsoever, unfortunately. I wish I did, but best thing to do is pop onto the DVLA website and they'll give you all the information needed to be able to get your UK license. And another question here, as an 18-year-old student in business enterprise development, how would I manage working in enterprise alongside my studies? And can I start working in my first year of university? So no, you're not able to do that. We offer the placement, which is part of a sandwich year. So if your degree offers you the opportunity to do a year in industry like Kate has done, then you can sort of do that in between your second and third or your third and fourth year. We wouldn't recommend doing the graduate programme alongside studies just because it is a full-time position. So we wouldn't want you to take on too much, but absolutely, if you want to do what Kate's done and do an internship, then absolutely you can go along and do that. Kate, did you have any work to do whilst you were doing your placement?
Yes, I think it depends on your university. Some you don't have to do anything, but for myself, I had to write like an essay alongside doing it, just for, I guess, count as a part of my degree. So yeah, you do have some uni work to still do while you're on placement.
Yeah, we just wouldn't recommend doing any studies, like major studies, alongside working, because it is normally a minimum of 45-hour working week, so that can be quite difficult to manage alongside any studies. So we wouldn't recommend that you do that unless you've graduated or you do that as part of your internship. And I noticed that there is a question here about when does the graduate programme start. I think Sam's mentioned this is a rolling recruitment process, no deadline. So I think Sam's already covered that. Isaac, are there opportunities in other units outside the management trainee route, like IT roles? We do have a couple of different roles that don't involve going through that graduate management trainee or placement sort of the standard route. Best thing to do is to go onto the website and you can take away the graduate management training program role, and then you can just filter it by anything. And there are a couple of positions in certain areas of the department, like our flexi rent or vehicle acquisition or our customer service reps, or more, insurance-based work as well. That is work from home or hybrid and doesn't involve starting in the on the standard graduate program. And got one from Augustine here. Is there any process or link available for the application for the placement role with Enterprise for 2023 August, September? So again, if you, Sam, I don't know if we're able to get I haven't got the chat up as well, so I don't know if you put this in already, but again, if you go onto the website, you can filter that by placements or summer internships, and then you can actually just filter that by all the positions that are available to start this summer. Again, all of our locations will be on there, so you can filter that either by a specific location, or if you're not bothered about a location, you can just filter it generally by placements, and then you can see all of the ones that are available to apply. Another one about driver's license. It has to be a full UK driver's license, so it can't be just an automatic license unless that is because of a medical disability. It has to be a manual and an automatic license, just because some of our vehicles are manual, some are automatic. So unless you only have an automatic license because of medical disability, you must have both a manual and an automatic. And I think we have one more, which is, as a postgraduate student, is it all right to apply? Absolutely. We take on anybody from any stage of life. So if you are a postgraduate student, if you're a master's student, that is brilliant. Please apply. Although it is called a graduate management programme, you're still eligible to apply, even if you have done a postgraduate or a master's as well. So yeah, very much that is absolutely fine. And I can see someone's got their hand up again. I don't know if that's me, but for some reason I can't see who has their hand up. So please do unmute your mic and ask your question. Unless Sam has muted everybody. Okay, the hand has disappeared. So maybe
they've already asked their question.
What was that? Sorry, Sam?
I think that person had already asked their question. It's just happened before.
Perfect. Amazing. Okay. Well, as long as there's no more questions, I just want to end with Kate. What's your favourite thing about working for Enterprise?
Oh, I would link back to what I said earlier, just the atmosphere of working at Enterprise. It's a very friendly, encouraging environment. When I first started from uni life straight into like full-time work, so just having that support of people, even as high as like my area manager, city managers, and just having that friendly atmosphere and it not being super serious all the time, still being able to have a little bit of a laugh and stuff. I really appreciate that at work, and in the future, if I don't work for Enterprise, I'd look for that in other jobs as well. Just the atmosphere really makes it, because you spend most of your time with these people when you're working full time anyway, so you want that atmosphere to be good and helpful and encouraging.
Thanks so much, Kate. And yeah, both of us have put our LinkedIns in the chat tonight. So if you have any specific questions about sort of the training program or placements, please do reach out to Kate. And anything else, or application process, recruitment, or any general Enterprise questions, please do feel free to DM me on LinkedIn. I try my best to go through there every other day. I'm not always the best on it when I'm busy, so I'm sorry if you wait a couple of days for a response, but I do try to get on there weekly. So please do message anything through if needs be. But again, I just want to say a massive thank you to Kate for joining me on this one today. Thank you so much for your insight. It's been so appreciated. And thank you everyone for joining us. I'll let you all go and get your dinner now. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a lovely evening.